Alright, dude, I don't have my laptop with all my questions. I didn't even look at them.
You go look at them real quick.
I think we're good. I'm just gonna chat with you.
You got videos rolling?
We're rolling. Hi, everybody.
Hi, folks. This is
happening?
Like super podcasty. Like, all of a sudden now, this is so not informal. This is not Tommy Shanks and the Fireside Chat. This is like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, baby.
All right, a podcast. All right.
And then we need our intro music.
Yeah.
It'd be like...
No.
Okay. Or like...
Okay.
You went... I went my generation. You went your generation.
I went 3 generations way later.
Yeah.
All right, we settled on
earlier.
Elvis. Good.
That's fine. It's
Elvis
all
is
in the
good,
hips,
right?
baby.
We'll just do the a little less conversation, a little more action, please.
All right, man.
All right, go ahead. So we left.
Where
off,
are you in your career? What's happening?
We had a podcast about you, a little bit about me. We're back to, I guess, me again. I don't know.
Where your career, man? Where are you at? What's happening right now? Have you burst through a ceiling? Have you?
God, no.
Have you hit a new level?
Oh no. Actually, it's funny you'd ask that. I've kind of been struggling a little bit lately with. I don't know where to go, what to do, and usually, what I find most times is that when you struggle a little bit and you get to this, kind of hit a plateau, but then you can't get anywhere, and then you get frustrated and you think you suck. And usually, for me, what that means is I need a little bit of a break. I need to absorb some creativity from someone else, and then I usually burst through and I get something that's really good. So I'm definitely fighting a little bit. I had some incidents in the studio where I threw some things around a little bit and got mad, and I had a little pouty fit.
Threw some brushes?
Oh yeah, I throw some shit. I punch some shit sometimes, and
yep.
I get a little violent down there sometimes. And people who know me go, "Oh yeah, just leave him alone. He's having a pouty fit down there." And he'll come up, and then I whine when I come up. Sucks. Everything sucks. I suck. The world sucks. In a world where everyone sucks. Sorry, I had to say that. This headphone thing. In a world where everything sucks, an artist breaks through.
I find that's where you learn the most, though. Is like as long as you keep going back down there and at least practice.
Back down. I do get a little violent and I get mad, and there's so many ways to go. But where I think I was headed with this a little bit is, I think it's super important to refill your gas tank. And as an artist and a teacher, when you're teaching, you give all the time. You're always giving. You're always helping students. You're always teaching something. You're showing them something. You demo for them. You help them with their paintings. You're always giving. You're giving away your trade secrets. You're giving. As an artist, all you do is give on a canvas. You give. You paint. You give. You paint it. You frame it. You sell it. You give.
Yeah. And
at some point, the gas runs out of the gas tank and you're done. You have no more to give. There isn't anything. I don't know where to go, what to do. I'm not creative. I don't know what to do. Well, you need to refill that gas tank. So for me, doing that, usually that means I need to go see a live band. I need to go see music. I need to see
an event of some sort?
An event, even sometimes just watching a movie on Netflix, a really good movie.
It gives you that inspiration.
Oh, I suck the creativity out of it.
I love that when you walk out of a show and you're like,
well,
I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
I am.
Yeah, and then you hit the studio different.
So for me, it could be a multitude of things. It could be a lot of times I will go to the Ironwood and see a band. I'll go to the Blues Can and see a band. I want to see a band. I want to see live music. I want to watch a video of a band. I want to see musicians playing because, as most of you know, I am a diehard audiophile music. I just love music. I can't.
Yep.
I'd play music 24/7 if I could. Music. My whole life has a background of music going on. But movies and watching someone direct, and I watch a movie, and it's not only the performance of the actor, but it's like, God, you think about the director thinking about all these shots and what he's doing. But most times for me, the camera guy. Who found this location? Man. Who sought out this with the lighting and all of this, that you'd film this? So it looks like that when you know that doesn't exist ever in reality. Somebody painted that, and some guy with a camera walked around with this little lens thing looking, going, oh yeah, here's a shot, and here's some distance, we'll have some people in there, oh, and then this guy
it all comes together in those in such a weird way. It's like exactly what you're talking about, finding the spot, and then, you know, like perfect lighting, like 70-30 this and that. But then there's the guy who actually gets the camera angle shots. And it's
then
like,
you got
then they have like a giant camera. Yeah, exactly.
But
it all ties together.
I can't think of the name of the movie, but it's with, I don't even know if he's still alive, Bruce Dern, who's Laura Dern's brother. Was an old guy, and it's something like Nevada or something. He thinks he's won a lottery ticket, and he goes to find that they said, no, you didn't actually win. He goes, no, I think I did. And he wants to go to the lottery office, but he's old. He can't even drive. And his son's like, dude, you didn't win, like whatever. And he decides, screw you, I'm walking. I'm going to walk 4 states over and find my winning lottery ticket. But they show this simultaneously incredibly decrepit, falling apart America. Poor America that, you know, we're spending billions of dollars helping other countries, and our country is falling apart in front, you know, America, whatever, but it's falling apart in front of our eyes. And as decrepit as it is, the guy that's filming this, and it's in black and white, is filming the most beautiful stuff you've ever seen. The most decrepit, like Monet always said, the most ugliest spot in the city is the train station, but there is beauty for those who wish to seek it out. And it's always like that beauty that it's in a movie. So I take that and I absorb that. I'm like, God, look at that, and I recharge my whole gas tank versus everyone that's throwing stuff at me. They're giving, and I'm happy to receive. I need some of that, and you know what? I'll turn around tomorrow and I will give you tomorrow because I've received. So you recharge your batteries and off you go again.
You're also motivated, inspired in a way by it, that where like you steal some of their creativity. Like
you steal their energy.
Yes, steal their energy.
It's coming back to you. But it gets you motivated to
steal their style a little bit. Like, have you ever seen a band and then painted different the next day? What if it's like a heavy metal band and then you paint more aggressively?
It's not so much that, but when I hit the lowest of the low and I don't know what I'm doing anymore, I go to Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's my guy, because there are a few guys that they call, going to God mode, where there are some people that just get possessed by something that is not them, that whatever muse or whatever energy is out there decides, I need you as a portal, I'll just go through you. He is the reincarnation of Jimi Hendrix. And Jimi Hendrix would go God mode, and his band would sit there and go, I don't even think we should play anymore, just leave him alone. Yeah.
Let him go.
I don't know where he's going now. And he'd just sit there and play. Stevie Ray Vaughan, for me, I tell you, that first video that he put out at the El Macombo in Toronto, and he played and broke a string and he's sweating, he just doesn't stop, and people just they all stop cheering, and they just sort of stop and go, okay, what the fuck's going on now?
He's playing for legacy,
and he just becomes something else, and he never looks at his guitar. He doesn't do. He just there's something going on inside there, whatever. But there are days that I'm like, that's what I want. I want to be Robert Plant. I want to be Jimmy Page. I want to be. There are days Eric Clapton did that. I want to be Stevie Ray Vaughan. There were guys. I mean, dude, I'm a country and western fan, but Roy Clark would get this shit going on in him, and people would just go, where is this coming from? Yeah. The band would stop and go, okay, you've left the planet. We don't even know what note you're on now. We're done. And he'd be like, oh my God. There's so many guys God mode that do that.
But you yourself as an artist are people look at you like that because you can whip off paintings like that, like so quickly, right? Like it's almost like an MMA fight, or, you know, all the training before where you're practicing the same moves, and then your brain goes into autopilot. And it seems, at least for you, it's an autopilot mode where you can just whip off these paintings like 20 minutes, an hour, and people are stunned.
I've had God mode moments. They're few and far between, you know, and you wish there was more. If there was more, then every Fleetwood Mac song would be a hit, not just the 25 that are killer good out of the 4,000 they wrote.
Yeah.
I wish there was more, but I've had moments, and again, my age, but I refer to it as the Led Zeppelin moment, where the faster you drive, the slower Led Zeppelin sounds. You can drive very, very fast and be reckless, and Zeppelin seems to slow down. And people will say when you're about to have an accident and all this chaos is going on, time seems to slow down and take a slow motion thing. But if you're in the zone and you're in a God moment like that, being a beast moment or beast-like, and you're painting, everything seems to slow down. Though you're going fast, the thought will come in and say, you need to do this, then this, then this. And you will do it as if it's in slow motion, but you're doing it in fast motion, and everything will hit you.
Yeah.
That's the, you know, fighters, MMA, sports, every sports legend in the world will tell you that. Musicians, actors, some of the greatest lines, some of the greatest moments in movie history. I mean, Martin Scorsese is so known for the fact that he gets Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci and he gets his crew, he gets that Harvey Keitel, and they're all sitting there and here's your script, and they start going, and Joe Pesci starts to go off on a thing, and Robert De Niro says something, and Harvey Keitel's like, what's wrong with you, man? Are you okay? And he's like, he's waving his hands. Let him go. These guys are having a moment. And they will act, and he's like, cut, print that. He says, I don't even want another take. You can't take another. There is no other take.
Yeah.
This, he lets them, he knows.
Organic.
He knows to leave these guys. And, you know, you talk about Will Ferrell. He talks about, and Jim Carrey.
Well, because they
just throw this stuff
improv.
Out. They're improv.
Like, tons of their jokes are improv.
But a good director will always go, let him go.
Yeah,
you got to let these
for sure.
And yeah, so
I'm sure there's tons of actors that try that same thing, and it's like, okay, dude, just stick to the goddamn script, man.
Yeah. There's definitely that, and so, you know, that being said, there is also. Normally, for most people, there's two people that need to be painting a painting. The person who paints the painting and tries to go to beast mode or God mode and take care of that, and the person behind them that hits them on the head and the hammer and goes, stop, you're done, that's perfect, leave it. Because, you know, as Robert Genn always said, 20% underdone is still better than 2% overworked. But where do you know how to stop? Where do you know how to stop? You need another person to stop you, because you get in this mode where you could go forever and the thing just blows up. Oh, I took that too far. But anyways, yeah. So I do have, you know, I actually have found I'm really good at when you do a demo, and demos are so hard because you're sort of talking, you're left brain, but you want to be right brain. You also have a silent
crowd that you're trying to.
But you put some marks on them, people, you can hear them. You know, they'll be kind of You guys will be like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And you hear this, and you're like, okay, I'm cruising now, because sometimes you think, oh, these guys are. Am I boring them? Am I that bad? Yeah. But you pick up subtle clues. And then you
talkative crowd or non?
They're usually non. Usually they're actually.
What would you prefer?
Oh, talkative. There's both. I mean, I've learned, it's taken a long time, but I've learned to do both. Because if you have a non-talkative crowd, then you can actually get into the painting and get in your head. With a talkative crowd, you're always left-braining it. You're talking, and so now you're a little bit more of a comedian. You're a little bit more facing the crowd.
Entertainer.
You're entertainer, and you're just sloughing the paint off on the side.
Yeah.
So there's a little of both. But I found that I'll paint, and you can hear them, oh yeah, it's good. And they go, oh my God, that was crazy, Mark. Oh my God. And you know, okay, you're knocking it out of the park. It's good. And then you'll make a mark and you can just hear that one person go, like, what was that?
Oh, really?
You hear this hesitant, like,
I don't know about that.
And I've always been like Michelle will always say, you know, enough, no, like she'll be in the back, and I see people give me the,
Enough.
You know
Enough.
I know you keep wanting to paint because you're a showman and you're on show, but you're actually at the point where that is a good, you should just leave that. You can work on it at home. You can do whatever you want. But for right now, this could blow up at any second. And I hear people, the little things in the crowd, and I'm like, no, stop. As soon as I pull out that dinky little brush and I start noodling, I'm like, my other brain is like, dude, get out, just frame it, get out. So you learn how to get in and out, and demos are they can be heartbreaking and hard, and I've had lots blow up on me, and I've had ones that were so good. I have one I just did not that long ago, but I won't give it away. That's one of my best demos.
But
anyways, I don't know if that was on subject or
no, it was. I think you forgot a little bit where you were going. Because a demo, I think this is where you were going. A demo can revamp you a little bit, right? You that's not where you were going.
No, I wouldn't say revamp.
Because, like going to a concert
for other people, for sure.
Doing that. You kind of get that teacher's high or that event high after if you crush it. If you bomb, everybody needs to bomb, but...
the whole thing for me is a demo, though they're frightening because you got to talk and you got to paint and you got to throw something down in front of people that could blow up. This is not like a concert where I've done this song 100 times. I've never painted this before, and I'm about to paint it live. But the showman in me so wants, like, I've had this thing forever. I tried it once years ago, and it failed dismally. But I tried a thing where I had them turn the lights down. I played the Clint Eastwood music. And I came out with a slick.
It's what I've always wanted to do for the demos.
I came out with a slicker.
Next level demos,
and
man.
I came out with a hat, and I was like, so I'm about to gunsling the canvas. And I pulled my jacket open, and I had some brushes there, and everybody's like, what's going on? Why is he doing this? I don't understand. Nobody got it. Then the lights came on, and they're like, and I'm like, always at a demo, and this was Jerry and I were like, Jerry and I had a show at the Leighton Center, and we put a show together, and they were like, hey, what are we doing? And we're like, we're having Budweiser beer and chicken wings. And they're like, what? No, we have wine and cheese. I go, no, we don't. We have Budweiser beer and chicken wings and cheese puffs and and like potato chips. And we had this thing, and it sold really well. And that's where the impetus was like, yeah, this is the shit. It's Johnny Cash. This is who we are. Yeah. We aren't wine and cheese dudes. We're having chicken wings and beer.
We're like the metal painters.
It was the sort of outlaw country. We're outlaw painters.
Yeah.
So I took it a step further. I did this demo.
Bad idea.
I pulled my jacket back. I had brushes, and I was like all ready to go. And the lights came on, and I had a cowboy hat, and everybody's like, why do you have a cowboy hat, and what are you doing? And like, aren't you going to paint a painting? And I painted a figure painting, and then the whole painting blew up, and it was a disaster.
Oh, no way.
Oh, it was terrible. Oh, the figure was all out of whack. And the whole thing was
especially
brutal.
With the intro.
I served chicken wings and beer, and everybody was like, is there any wine?
What the hell is going on?
I think the only person that loved it was Linda Wilder. She's like, oh my God, there's beer at a demo. I love you. And I was like, and she's like, that was fantastic. Painting sucked, but the beer was good. Thank you. Oh yeah, it was, I thought. But I thought this whole thing would be like...
I think we should still go for it.
I was still doing the backstage thing where I'm pacing, going, okay, I'm going on stage. Here it comes. Any minute they're going to announce my name. I have to walk out and knock it out of the park. And then it was like, okay, well, dude, you're just doing a painting. Just paint, answer some questions, and go home. Like,
well, no.
I'm not.
Always a good idea to test those waters.
I threw it out there.
Always a good idea to test those waters. It was Jerry was there, obviously.
No,
right?
he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
Oh, I thought you said...
he moved to. He was in Vernon then. But like I always say, you always got to throw spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. Well, I threw spaghetti. There wasn't even a wall, so that didn't work. Anyways, hey, I would try shit again. I don't care. What do you? I'm not afraid of failing. I'll tell you that. My whole life, the one thing I've never been afraid of is failing. I don't care. What's failing? Failing.
You should be excited to fail more.
Failing is the greatest thing you can do.
Well, you learn so much from the fails.
Totally.
Especially the embarrassing fails. You're like, oh, that one stung a bit. I'm not gonna do.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I need to change.
Yeah,
after that.
everything.
My first concert rapping. It was brutal. Even the manager of the place came up to me in the middle of my set and was like, just come here for a second. And I was like, rapping in front of people.
Come here, I need to talk to you in the middle of your set.
No. He's like, somebody's illegally parked in the back and you need to tell them to go drive away. It was like, you couldn't have waited after my set or like whatever. So I had to stop my set in the middle of it, tell whoever the hell had a Honda Civic parked in the wrong stall, and then I tried to carry on and I lost my mojo, I was
totally.
way too close to the mic. I was yelling. It was terrible.
What was the best part of your show? Oh, I love the part with the Honda Civic, and you had to tell the guy to go. I love that. You should do a whole album of that.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Oh yeah, I've lost my mojo in a demo. I've had demos that were so good. I've had demos that are so bad. I don't know. You just got to keep throwing it out there. You know.
You got to keep trying. You got to keep trying new ideas too, because if you get stuck in the same old routine, you're just beating a dead horse.
I get excited about new ideas when I'm on to something. I'm like, I'm going to try this, and we're going to go down this road. I'm like, I get stoked to try it.
See, there's the. It's always such a balance. There's the trying new ideas, which is amazing. Always try new ideas. But then as soon as that new idea starts getting hard or starts getting boring, or that new idea comes up and then it takes a dip down and it's like, ooh, I don't know about this idea. But if you can get past that stage where you want to quit, it comes back off and it levels off.
Yeah, usually.
And that's where the rewards are after it.
The idea that you have is so new, you don't know what to do with it. So it's kind of like the ugly duckling. It's new, it's ugly, it's not great, but it's kind of cute because it's new.
It's cool,
and then
it's interesting.
But I'm gonna work on this, and you do that dive where it gets really bad. And that's the point. And I tell people this all the time, that your painting takes an ugly duckling stage. Start drawing it out, you're excited, everything's going along, and then it's pretty soon it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. Oh my God, I'm lost. That's the point where you want to quit. That's the point where it's just about to get really good. And if you stick with it, you can turn it around, and all of a sudden you're making marks again, and this thing comes out of the dark, and you're like, oh my God, this is good. Juicy. And so you go through these new ideas through that. It's not kind of new anymore, but it hasn't got enough of you in it. It was so fresh, you didn't know what you're doing. Now you know what you're doing, and it has you in it. You got to stick with it.
Absolutely.
And that will lead you to the next fresh idea, but you got to get through that curve.
And then, there's so many things. There's so many variables. But then you also need to know when to quit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Two people to paint a painting. I would love that. I just wish there was a giant hammer in my studio that went, ding, hit me on the head and went, you're done, buddy, walk away.
That's usually the person behind you telling you.
It is. And I remember, like, Michelle always tells me, to quit way earlier, but Jerry used to yell at me from way across. We'd be outside painting and he'd be in the other field, and he'd look over and he could see me with a dinky little brush, and he'd go, Swinton, show me your brush. And I'd hold it up and it'd be like a number 1. He goes, you need to quit, dude. And so our rule used to be when we painted, and he doesn't drink anymore, but when he did drink, the rule was you had 5 minutes to finish your painting from the first beer cracked. So somebody would be done and you'd hear that, and someone would open a beer, and you knew 2 reasons. You had 5 minutes to quit because everybody should be done now. And the other reason was, if you don't quit, there ain't going to be any beer left for you. Nice. You're going to sit there for fucking another hour doing this.
I'm done.
But he used to yell at me in the field and tell me to quit all the time. He was the greatest guy about stopping. He was really good about that. I miss that. Michelle's good too. She helps. I'm probably, that's my biggest weakness, is not knowing when to quit and just to leave it loose and fresh and understated. Because, they always say the mind will make up infinitesimal amounts of painting more than you could ever paint on the painting. Leave it for the like you said, when you painted, what is it? What do you want it to be?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know, but I'll buy it.
But there's also what I think also happens is you find a spot in your painting that needs fixing, and it's awesome because like you're like, oh, I know exactly what needs to happen here, and you fix that one spot, and then your eye goes to something else, and you're like, oh fuck. What about this spot?
Well, there's a
and then it like it's almost cross the lines, connect the dots, and then
there's a domino effect.
A domino effect. So way better way of putting it. You fix
this, and it causes this, and this to need to be fixed. There's that. Richard Smith always said, just always fix what needs to be fixed on your painting first. Don't leave anything. All you have to do is paint a painting that needs nothing fixed, and you'll have a good painting. And it sounds so like, what? That's like retarded. How do you do that? But his thing was, if you leave bad things in the painting, and a lot of artists do this, a lot of painters will do this and go, I know, the trees, whatever. I'll fix the trees later, and I know the sky's not quite the right color, but I'm going to get there. I'm on to the lake now. That is so wrong, because in a sea of wrongness, you can't see another wrong thing. In a sea of rightness, one wrong thing will stick out. So as long as everything's right in your painting, a wrong will always show up. All you have to do is correct all the wrongs. Never leave anything that's wrong in your painting. Fix it now. Fix it to the level that needs to be fixed. It may need to be changed, like we said later. You may need to alter it. But if you know it's wrong, don't go, yeah, I know that in this rap, that rhyme's not right, and it's not kind of what I'm saying, but I'm going to continue with the rap. No, fix that now, because as soon as you have 3 or 4 things wrong, you can't start to tell what's wrong. They're all wrong. Everything's wrong.
Then the whole thing's bad.
The whole thing's bad. And when it's right, just fix the wrong things.
That's actually super interesting. And I heard this while you were speaking. Fix it right away.
Right away. Don't go. I'm going
Don't
back
hesitate.
to that. No, you need it. It needs everything. The more right you have on the painting, the more wrong will show up. And that's important to see wrong. It's hard. Like I've always said that I probably don't ever paint very much right on a painting ever. I make a mark and all I do is correct everything from there. It's never right.
Gotcha.
John Poon said to me one time, painting, maybe not to me, but to the class. I took a class from John Poon in Oregon. Great teacher, by the way. One of the I learned more from that guy probably than most ever. But he said painting is like an old radio, and you're on AM and you need to dial it in, and it would. And the guy would come in and go, and then as you dial it in, it gets clear, and you find that super sweet spot where the radio is perfectly clear and the guy's voice is deep and good. It's far away, but it sounds good. And he just said all the time, painting is always, you're just dialing it in, dial that value down, dial that color down, like get it closer, get it right. Like you may think that's right, but you could be just a little bit where closer. It's clearer. And boy, when it hits, it hits.
It's such a hard balance, though, because there is that, and then there's taking it too far. You know, so it's like, and I've had this with mixes, and too, right? It's like, there's some songs where it's like, if I did one more mix on it and fix some things up, it's like, oh man, if I didn't do that, it would still be sounding like crap. But then I take it too far sometimes, and I'm like, probably the exact same with painting.
Oh, it is
such a hard balance.
But I have always maintained. I know that I just said, Robert again, 20% underdone is better than 2% overworked. But every day of the week, I would rather take something too far than not take it far enough.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd like to push the limit a little bit and go, what if I push this a little bit? And sometimes it blows up and I go, it sucks. But that's a lot better than being timid and going, whatever, it was bland white bread. That was okay. I was safe the whole way.
Yeah.
I don't know, being safe, whatever. Safe Safe is for bankers. Somebody break that down. Safe is for bankers. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, okay. Well, thanks for joining in. I don't know. You're supposed to have another question.
All right, for young artists. All right. How'd you get into your first gallery? What was the first gallery?
Here's the story.
How did you get into the first gallery? What did you sell? Did you sell?
Here's a story. So I've been in a lot of galleries and I have yet to approach a gallery to be in one. They've always come to me. I'm the luckiest guy on the planet that they keep coming and going, hey, would you be in our gallery? We like you. We like you. I think there's a little bit of this weird thing.
So you've never applied to be in a gallery?
Though I know, and I've brought Jason Horace from Xanadu Gallery, which, by the way, you guys, if you want to get in a gallery, look up Jason Horace Xanadu Gallery. He has a business academy. I've had him up here twice to do lectures.
Shout out. Say it again.
Oh, yeah. Horace. I don't know. It's H.
What?
His last name is HJORJEEX with 2 dots and I don't know. Just look up Xanadu Gallery, Scottsdale. He has a couple different galleries. His dad was an artist, but he started this online business. He used to come up and do lectures. Best lecture I ever had. Filled it. He came up twice. 4 times I filled him. But he had this thing where he says, this is what you need to do to get into a gallery. I own a gallery. You come see me. If you do this, I'd probably take you on. And he went through all these steps. Mind-blowing. They were all fantastic. And it's funny that I did this because I've never done this. Galleries just come to me. But there is a bit of a thing going on where sometimes my persona or who I am predecesses the actual painting. They're like, oh my God, I heard you're the best painter ever. And oh my God, we should have you in the gallery. I'm like, have you even looked at my work? Do you even know what I paint? Like, I think if you saw what I painted, like you have some pretty good shit going on, a lot better than what I paint. And you have me in your gallery? Like, I don't know. Like, they're like, oh yeah, but we hear you're really good. I'm like, but you've never looked. Anyways, there's some weird stuff going on with that where you just become famous, and I'm like...
Because of word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Yeah, I'm way more famous than I should be. Though I am in galleries, and I do sell, and I sell fairly well in most galleries that I'm in. I've never had to approach a gallery, so that's a whole weird thing. But here's the story that I wanted to get to. The first gallery I was in was called Peter's Gallery, which at some point became Gallery of the West. It was in Willow Park Village, Willow Park Mall, where Chianti's is, or, for those of you who know Calgary and whatever. It's where Chianti's is and where the cigar shop is and AMA. They've been there for years across from the LRT station. They had a gallery. I was in a small studio learning to paint, and we had a student show. And I was in the student show, and they happened to have it in that gallery as a weekend thing. And they said to me, hey, we'd really like you to, maybe stay. You've got some good art here. I think we could sell some of this. You want to stay? And so I stayed. I had my paintings on the wall, and my dad went to the gallery. After work, he went to the gallery. My dad didn't go anywhere but home for, my dad was the guy that would walk in and go, less yakety yak, more martini, don't talk to me till I've read the paper. And he'd sit and he'd read that's when the paper came in the evening before it came in the morning. He'd read the paper, he'd have a drink, and then you could converse with him. He had a long day, don't talk to me. It's like, don't talk to me in the morning till I've had my coffee. Don't talk to me at night till I've had my martini. My dad went to the gallery. We're eating dinner, and my dad said, I went to the gallery, saw your paintings. I was like, what? I said, you went to Peter's Gallery? He goes, yeah. He goes, how come their price so low? I said, what? I go, there was no, hey, you got good art. You're a good man.
Yeah,
you're doing good. It was like,
means business.
Why are they priced so low? I go,
business.
I don't know. I said, they're like, I don't know. They're cheap, whatever. He goes, I paid for those frames. I'm like, yeah. He goes, so you got $250, $250 on a painting. I paid $200 for that frame for you. Like, you're making no money, you realize. And I'm like, oh,
Smart man,
I'm
though.
like, oh, yeah, I guess. Like, I hadn't thought of it. And he goes, that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is you've priced yourself so low, no one believes in you. And he said, you don't need to be Dolce & Gabbana and have a $17,000 painting sitting there. And everybody goes, who the hell is he? But he said, you're the lowest guy in all of the gallery and you look like...
amateur.
Yeah, it feels amateur hour. He goes, why don't you double your prices and see what happens? So one of the hardest things I've done was go to the gallery and walked in as a 16, 17-year-old kid and say, I'd like to double my prices. And the gallery owner said, well, we're not sure about that, but I don't know. Okay, let's give it a stab. I doubled my prices. 2 days later, I sold a painting.
That's sweet.
I only ever sold one, but I'm pretty sure my dad stuck that in his hat and said, okay, that's your business lesson. I know no more about business. I work for the man, so I'm done. Right?
Yeah.
But I actually sold a painting, got paid for it, and that was the start of the whole value, perceived value and worth. What's it worth? What's the value of it? And where do you find that? And where do you go? And I'll tell you now.
You could buy a killer object for 5 cents, but I'm telling you, you look at it and you're like, 5 cents, it's probably crap.
It is. 5 cents just...
It could be the same product.
Tells you crap. I know. We just talked about my whole thing is the Bic lighter thing. How do you make a Bic lighter for 99 cents?
Yeah.
With a flint and a fuse and butane.
But a pair of jeans is $100.
$100 and you can sew a pair of jeans in 37 seconds if you have a pattern. Like, give me a break. Like, but this whole perceived value thing. So that was the start of the whole store idea and the whole... What's something worth and what can you sell it for? What can you sell it for? What's it worth? And then I started looking,
retail's a bit harder.
Well, sure it is, but the whole marketing thing is, where do you position yourself? Are you going to be a BMW and go, I'm worth this much, but I only have this much of the population? Or are you Walmart, where I'm dirt cheap, but I get 80 billion people buying it? Yeah. Both guys make the same amount of money. It's where do you position
one works
yourself?
harder also too.
There is.
That plays into a factor because it's like the Walmart, right?
So
you're busting.
We opened the store, and about a week after we're open, I remember my mom coming to me and going, remember, every time a penny earned is a dollar saved, or a dollar earned is a penny saved, or always pennies. Pennies are important. Count your pennies. And my dad looked at me and said, you know what? When you're bending over picking up the penny, dollars are flying over your head. And I was like, I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, well, that kind of makes sense. Like, you're busy worrying about 2 cents. You're not even pricing yourself right. You're worried about that crap. So thus began the marriage between my wife, my ex-wife, Donna, and me, where she is the accountant going, that's a penny.
That's a penny.
Right now.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are you still concentrating on these goddamn pennies?
It's only $300. Let's buy it. $300. Oh my God, we don't even have that. Don't worry, we'll get more money. Don't worry about it. That balance has always gone on between the two. Thank God for her, because 67 days was all I gave the store. 67 days we're going to be out of business, and she turned that $67 into 30 years. She's remarkable.
26. 27,
28, whatever. Yeah, she's
30 years.
Shout out to Donna for that, for sure.
Yep.
All right. I don't know where that went down the business.
That was good.
Loophole.
That was perfect.
Pricing. I think the hardest thing. Well, naming paintings, we can down that rabbit hole. But pricing your paintings is so hard. What's the
rule of thumb?
I get that. More questions. That's the biggest question I get asked more than anything else. How do I price my paintings? I want to sell. I want to be in a show.
I think you told me the amount of supplies that you've put into it plus time and double it.
No. So my rule of thumb has always been double the price of the frame and then double it again. That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
So you buy a $75 frame and you say, well, I got to double. It's $150. Well, you need to sell that painting for $300.
Yeah.
That's sort of where I say.
And that's a fair.
So I look at that and say, I don't know what level you're at and what gallery you're in or what community show you're in or if you're just having a house show.
Because it all depends.
Right? It so depends. But I say, take that number. A $75 frame, double it again. 75, 150, 300. You look at $300 and you say then, how do I feel about $300? Do you go, Oh my God, $300? Like, I'm not selling this for $300. Like, I put 9 months into this painting. I need more than that. Well, you obviously need to raise the price. If you say, oh, $300? Oh God, I could never ask $300. Are you crazy? Like, I just paid it. Give me $5. I'd be so happy. I'm like, okay, you're underselling. But if you say that $300 is too, you know the feeling. But if $300 feels right, maybe you need to be at $290. Maybe you need to be at $350. But now you're in the ballpark where it starts to feel right. From there, you can start to gauge it and go out.
Yep.
There's no answer to the pricing thing whatsoever. And I'll tell you now, most galleries, they don't want to price your paintings. They need you to be professional and step up to the plate and price them, which I find hard because I don't know where I sit in your gallery with what I got. But I'll tell you, my gallery in Kelowna, shout out to Gallery 421, Sandra in there said, just here's a spreadsheet. I will fix everything. This is where you should be. These paintings are worth more. Figures are worth this. Unframed, framed. Here's your prices. We think this is where you would fit and where you'll sell. The minute she did that, cha-ching, it took off like a rocket. Probably less than they should be, and they need to be maybe raised a little now because they've shown that works. Yep. But thank you for that, because I don't know where I sit in who knows
in that gallery, because the gallery itself depends.
A good professional gallery will provide that for you, and shout out to 421 for that. So yeah,
that was awesome.
Pricing's hard. The next worst thing is naming a painting. That's the hardest thing. And the quickest and fastest way to name a painting is get a Bob Seger album and write Against the Wind. Nice. Get an Eagles album, take it to the limit. I don't know. I've stolen more names from albums and going, that's a good name. That's a good name. Get a book. Get a movie. I don't care. The thing is, you write an album. There's 12 songs on an album. Great. You got to name 12 things. Dude, I paint 12 paintings a week and I have to name them. Sunset Serenade 47 is just not cutting it anymore. I got to be done with that shit. I tell you. It's hard. Naming paintings, sometimes they come to you. Sometimes I have a name for a painting, and I will paint a painting to the name. Oh, I'm like, that's a name. Oh my God, we need to paint something to do with that name. And I tell you, the greatest thing, drive anywhere and steal roadside names. Like, I've got, I don't know, maybe 3 paintings out there called Horse Thief Creek and Horse Thief Road and whatever. That's in Invermere, just when you go north of Invermere to, I forget, whatever, you can cut through to get to Radium or to, not Radium, to Radium. You can go through the back roads and there's Prickly Pear Creek and Toby Creek and
road names.
Oh my God, road names everywhere. You're like, oh, write that down. That's I think I must have 17 paintings called Salmon Valley Road, which is, in Salmon Arm where my house is, and they're all Millerville. But if I call another goddamn painting Millerville Sunset, I'm gonna stab myself. Anyways, naming paintings, Anyways, all right.
All right.
Dead airspace, can't have that. This is really weird hearing myself in these.
It's fun though. It's good.
It feels very podcasty.
It does feel podcasty.
It does, and I listen to a lot of podcasts too. I'm kind of a podcast junkie.
Oh, me too. Every time before I fall asleep.
Totally in bed.
It's nice to turn the TV off and just listen. Mm-hmm. It's also nice to be able to listen the whole time, and you're like, what's this guy look like? And then you turn on the.
There is that. There's the whole rabbit hole issue too, where the guy's like, oh, shout out to so and so, and you're like, oh, I should wake up and write that down. I got to put it in my phone because I want to look that up, and then you're going down different rabbit holes. God, you could listen forever.
Oh, there's so many.
And the funniest thing is, lots of guys that were in radio, there's been a big drive towards this whole, Netflix and TV, and the way entertainment's going is like, who listens to radio anymore? Nobody listens to radio.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's completely opposite. Radio has never been as large as it is now. And every major radio station is telling you, we have podcasts of this. We can have podcasts. Podcast is just regular radio. And I know that, the guy I gave you the books for, Roy Williams, who's been in radio forever, says, Roy H. Williams tells you, oh my God, radio has never been as big as it is right now, and listening is more important than ever. More people want to listen than they want to watch.
Yeah.
But Eric Rhodes from Streamline Publishing and all his outdoor stuff, Eric was in the store a few years ago, came in and we talked, and he said something about Roy Williams. He said, I know Roy, I've met Roy. My wife went to Roy's school in Austin, Texas, and man, that guy lit up like a rocket. And we talked for 45 minutes about radio in the store, not about art supplies. And he was like, God, I love talking to you. And I was like, I know, it was just crazy, but
that's a guy you should have on here. Just
we should. And you know what?
Reach out.
I'll reach out to him. He would. You know what? He would show up because he's that kind of guy.
Absolutely.
He's a super nice guy. So shout out to Eric Rhodes. Love you, buddy.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for this session at least.
That was cool. We have only nice. 2 dead air spaces. I'm proud of that.
2 dead air spaces. That's all right. You know, next time, got to make sure we have enough storage space on the phone. I'm worried if it cut out or not. But
the podcast is still on. I don't know.
The audio, at least we know for sure, is still on.
Nobody wants to see my ugly mug anyways. And next time we'll dive in a little deeper.
Next time we're going to have an artist.
We got more artists. We're going to start all artists. We're going to have, we got everybody coming up.
Absolutely.
Everybody, you're going to stay tuned, man. You are going to love the people we have.
I think it's going to be sweet. I think it'll be a hit.
It is. All right. Potato Water Thursday is done.
Potato Water Thursday.
Thank you very much. Love you all. Good night. Woo!
Good night.
This is out for podcasting.